Ladies and gentlemen, what you think you see is true and truthful. It is our Easter show where we bring you all the news and all the comedy that you can take. And where we're going today is you are not, in fact, seeing double. No, you are not seeing double. What you are seeing is a miracle. It's a miracle, I say. I keep hearing outside, "Io, Io, Io," and I'm hearing voices. I think I'm hearing voices in Easter. And what I did was I went outside, and there's a gentleman standing outside with this little pot. And he is one of the neighbors that watches my live streams. And he says, "Here, I have no money, but I will donate this pot to the Church of Christians Plus, and hopefully this pot will become full for the soup kitchen part of the Church of Christians Plus." Now you can see this pot has been abused. So we might also have to have a section for abused people, children that have been not fed properly or clothed properly, which we can add on to the dating services in the underworld of the Church of Christians Plus. And we could probably set that aside next to the soup kitchen. So this pot is the new pot of the Church of Christians Plus. So what you didn't know is that there is magic on Easter. And now, in a moment, I will let you hear the sound of the new pot. But you're going to have to wait just a few minutes while we do the news. And the news is, good morning, Arcelius Corner. Welcome to the machine. Thank you for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, Arcelius Corner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a woman from the Philippines who works for Big E. And Big E is going to be a major, major topic in today's show, as is Chie Corsairs. And in fact, Arcelius Corner will be part of a future show that we do when we all get together and sing the thank you song. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we just mentioning it and it appears on the screen. We are going to get together and all of us are going to do, perhaps we will do a single rendition of the thank you song and then a collaboration between Big E, Chie, and me, Arcelius Corner. I understand there are going to be several other people that are going to want to join in. It's not exactly a church choir, but with the angelic voice of Chie Corsairs in the background of the thank you song. And let me tell you, when Chie Corsairs sings, people run. I mean, I run. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. So for a long time, Chie Corsairs and her singing, but when she started singing, I'd have to mute it. But the Lord has blessed Chie Corsairs, and it is Easter, and we praise the Lord as always every day when we wake up. The Lord has given Chie the ability to sing the thank you song as if there were ministers or angels on her shoulders. It's a completely different intonation of voice. It's Dave K, I believe, is going to be there also. He's also going to sing, if I am not mistaken. Welcome to the machine, Dave K. Welcome to the machine. So there will be, and Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson, happy Easter, my friend. Jack Thompson would like to, but can't be there. But Jack Thompson, when the time comes, when the foundations are laid and the church is up and running, We're going to have a placard. And Jack Thompson's name, the placard is not going to be in the amount of total donations. The placard is going to be in chronological order of who gave donations. So one of the things that you should understand is Jack Thompson was the first of many people to pledge towards the Church of Christians Plus. Now, Jack and I spoke on the phone, and Jack is donating $1,000 to the Church of Christians Plus, which is the first pledge. But I've had people from America that are going to make up a large percentage of the Church of Christians Plus funding. And then I got an email from the great Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith himself, that he is interested in a minimum of $5,000 once the church is set up, which means Scott put the donation with a caveat that I go to school and become a minister. And considering the amount of money that's involved, it should be set up as a legal, oh my God, Patria donating from South America, and it is 750 HNL. Now, I want you to know, I looked up what HNL was, and 30 HNL is equal to 1 liter of gasoline or fuel in South America. And I heard the story that someone was telling you that you were or sadistical donator. Not sadistical per se, but you were doing it as a smack in the face. Now, I know you personally, and I know that everything you do is not necessarily negative or evil. So this is a 750 HNL. If 30, do the math, I won't be using a calculator. If 30 HNL is $1.20, 30 goes into 750, it goes into it 20, and then 150, 25 times. So 25 times $1.20 is $25 times 20. That's 35 US dollars. So we will sing the thank you song. And being that you are the first person to donate in honor of Nomad Patriot, let Nomad Patriot be the first recipient of the sound of the new pot. And everybody knows that pot is something you cook in. Everybody knows this. But what you didn't know is that a pot could become pregnant. And that's what has happened. My ministry and the Church of Christians Plus, with Reverend Big E and Chie and me, we have grown. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to embellish a little bit. This is the original pot. And the pot is always happy because the pot is it's the money pot. And of course, it represents the unity of the philosophies, of course. But what you didn't know is that a pot, if you put enough patronage or you put enough money in the pot, it can become burdened with offspring. So what has happened here? You're not seeing double. This is Nomad Patriot donates this money to the Great Chewbacca, and the Great Chewbacca sends this as the first donation. We're going to have to keep all of this separate for legal reasons. To the Church of Christians Plus, the pot that will collect a lot. So I want to give you, I can't do everything with just 2 hands, but with the help of the Lord on Easter, I will give you the sound of the original pot. that collects a lot. And what you have to know is that this is the money pot, but this is the pot of Christians Plus, which needs a little bit of work. I got to tell you, it needs some work. It's been laying out in somebody's yard with rusty bolts in it for a long time. Even the inside of the pot needs to be cleansed, like some people's souls. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you the sound of the original money pot, and I'm going to tell you that Nomad Patriot is the first person to put money in the pot of the Church of Christians Plus. It's a milestone in the history of YouTube, baby. So here's the original pot. And then we're going to talk about Warren H., G.E. Northrop, my Patreon account, and my pledges to the Patreon account and how they have grown, and they have become overburdened also, just like the pot. So listen to the sound. Canoy in the Philippines. Welcome, welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine. Big E in Cebu is present. Oh, my God. We have an entire cacophony of people that are going to sing in the Church of Christians Plus. But before that, we're going to get to do the thank you song. So listen to the pot. Listen to what the pot said. Originally, the pot said, money, 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 money. And it has a good ring to it. Very nice, very nice. But wait, I thought this pot that the neighbor brought over, the little pot that could, we'll call it the little pot that could, we'll call it a lot of things, but listen to this little pot. Listen to this little pot sing, baby. This little pot rocks. Listen to this. You don't think this pot looks like money. Remember, if a pot is all you got, you put in a lot. This sounds like a Tibetan Hindu monk, Zeus, and Roman ministry of the ages. Listen to the ring. It's like a Zen Buddhist monastery in and of itself. Wait, I got to adjust my pot, which is different than adjusting your jockstrap. That's completely different. The pot, ready? It's magic. Okay, so what we got here, we have okay. Well, we will sit. Oh my God! I got a request, and who am I to deny? I have to. I need. Wait. I need another prop. Okay, so let's go back to Nomad Patriot. Nomad Patriot was abused not properly, because you can't. How can you abuse somebody for sending you super chat? But he was. So let me take off these. Let me just adjust my glasses. You're not seeing double, ladies and gentlemen. No, you're not seeing double. You are seeing the reality of bang a pot, make a lot. So let's go back up to the comments. Canoy in the Philippines. Good morning, Canoy in the Philippines. So Canoy in the Philippines has a channel, and he's based out of Canada. So I would suggest you click on Canoy's link or go to Canoy's channel and subscribe to his channel. Big E, he has a channel with 9,900 subscribers, and Big E and me and Chie are going to sing a specific song. It's called the Thank You Song. Now, we will sing it individually, I hope. We will sing it together, and then we will sing it with the entire chorus of the gathering. We will call it the gathering, because there will be a gathering of YouTubers, otherwise known as a meet and greet. And there will be singing, and there will be entertainment from the Chie and Arcelius Corner and Dave K and Big E. Now, before I go into what and who Big E is, and I am going to go in deep to who and what Big E is to me, I'm going to talk about Warren H. So let's get some of this stuff off because it's interfering with my nasal. Okay, so I spoke with Warren H. this morning. He's out of the ICU again, and that's what he should be doing. So if at any time you have a few extra moments and wish to pray for Warren H., I think that would be a wonderful thing. Now, I myself don't actually pray. I try to think of a color, and the color that I think of is pink. Pink is a universal color for love. So when I do what some people praying, I generate the color pink in my mind, and I send that color to the person I'm praying for. Praying per se, asking Jesus or God for particular favors is just not part of what I believe is the proper way to pray. Now, I have a good friend of mine. I can't mention his name because I made a promise to him that I would never mention his name on my channel. But I have a good friend of mine who gives lectures. Let's just say he gives lectures. And he's a very famous man. His philosophy, although I did not know what his philosophy was until 3.5 years ago, his philosophy is the same as mine. We don't pray to a deity. We don't pray to an idol. Biggie touched on this yesterday in his live show about Christians and Easter and what the Bible meant. Thou shalt not worship false gods, one of the 10 commandments. And a false god is anything, including a pot. Thou shalt not worship false gods. A false god, if you worship a rock, that's a false god. If you worship a YouTuber, that's a false god. If you worship a church, that's a false god. If you worship a statue, that's a false god. It's not part of the 10 commandments haphazardly. It has a meaning. So there is also another expression in Christianity where 2 or more people gather in my name, therefore you shall be in the presence of the Lord God, which means that if 2 people gather and pray towards a higher power, then you have created a place where energy can be transferred back and forth between yourselves and God. Now, that's my philosophy. And it's a lot of people's philosophy. Unless you get trapped in a religious conundrum, then it has to be the only philosophy that really makes any sense, because it is very specific, the 10 commandments. There's a lot of in between, your ability to interpret it, but thou shalt not first worship false gods. And in the Bible, it goes on to explain that anything, a cross, even the cross of Christ is a false god. Even the church, or of any denomination, of any deity, or any philosophy of any deity, is a false god. So when I pray for Warren, I send him pink energy, which is a universal color for love and healing. Okay, so Warren H., if you have time and you wish to send Warren H. some love, do it. Try it in the form of the color pink, which represents love and healing. So let me get back. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. And I'm being serious about that. I do not pray to God per se through any church or any idol. I used to before I grew up, but I don't do it anymore. And I do feel the power And you will also feel a warmth moving through your body if you do that. The energy, if you can visualize the energy, will come up through the soles of your feet and work its way through what is known as the 7 chakra points in the Eastern traditions, and then flow out upwards into the universe, and then you can direct that energy towards Warren H. Now, if you think I'm kidding, I'll tell you something else that you people in general can't do or can't visualize. There are probably watching now. I think Big E could do it. I have been able to do it in the past, and there are probably somebody else that could do it. But I would make a simple statement that if there are 20 people watching right now, I would make a simple statement that less than 3 or 3 or less can count to the number 10 without having an extraneous thought enter their mind. Now, you would, that's really, yeah, it's not really simple. It's not really simple. Some people will practice that exercise, counting from 1 to 10, called focus, through meditation. Some people will try to do that exercise for a year, a month, 2 years, and never, ever achieve the ability to count from 1 to 10 without another thought entering that frame of consciousness. Go ahead and try it. And if you start and you count and you breathe out on 1, which is typical, and you say, wow, I'm counting. No, you have to start back at 1 again. Okay, if you get up to if you breathe out and you think you didn't think any thoughts, no, you got to start again. That's the first training exercise in the basic Zen Buddhist meditation philosophy that will bring you to higher planes of consciousness. Now, some people achieve the ability to count from 1 to 10 relatively fast, but you should understand what I just said to you is true and correct. If you sat in a clean, closed room, calm, quiet, comfortable room, sat or kneeled and tried to count from 1 to 10 with no outside thoughts coming into your head, you would realize what I said and how much truth there was to what I said. However, if you ever do achieve the ability to count from 1 to 10, that's step 1. Then you have to focus on a color or a sound. And then you focus on the color and you see that color. In the love, it's pink. So then you would count to 10 and focus on the color pink. That is even more difficult because now you have to focus on pink. And then it gets progressively more intense and aggressive in what you need to do in order to focus. But that's not what the exercise is about. The exercise is for you to remove extraneous thoughts from your mind and be able to hear what is really going on inside what is known as the Godhead of the universe. And with that, I will leave you with one thought about a book I read by a gentleman called R as in Romeo, M as in Mike, Buck. Bravo, Uniform, Charlie, Kilo. R.M. Buck. In that book, which is available, I think, from Bantam Books, is a list of several dozen, I think it's 108 people that have achieved what is known as cosmic consciousness. And that consciousness is where the basic tenets of meditation bring you, but not the only way to get there. Other people just flash into that state of consciousness, which is very dangerous because you really don't know what happened to your mind's eye. So let me go back to the comments and let's go. We're going to sing the thank you song once again in honor of Nomad Patriot. We have our silliest corner. Welcome to the Christian Plus Easter Extravaganza, which is only an extension of the Big E Easter Extravaganza. And I made a playlist on my channel. And talking about Big E, I'm going to give you my opinion about Big E in a moment. So we have Jack Thompson, who's a builder, a builder. Now, can you imagine a world without people like Jack Thompson who builds things? Not people that sweep the floors, but the people that build the buildings that the floor sweepers enter and collect the garbage. Jack Thompson is a person that has created in his life experience. He's a creator. He creates the idea and methods to cut a piece of wood and then to put those pieces of wood together. He creates in his mind a storyline and or a concept, and then creates a physical structure. Without people like Jack Thompson, there would be no structures. There would be no screen doors. There would be no buildings. There would be no staircases. There would be nothing without people like Jack Thompson who build things. So don't diminish Jack Thompson because he's a blue-collar worker or what we call a grunt in comparison, well, with Henry Kissinger's terminology of what people are. He's a lowly, feeder, bottom feeder, Jack Thompson is. And according to other people that even call Jack Thompson names, most people that call Jack Thompson names couldn't shine the dirty boots of Jack Thompson. He's an actual physical creator. He goes out there every day and risks his life. He doesn't pick up a broom and sweep a floor and worry about whether or not he's breathing dust. He breathes in concrete dust, cement dust, Portland, mortar dust. He brings in sand, dust from cement mixes and grease, and oils tools with caustic chemicals, and scrapes or cuts the bark off of trees with whatever bacterium are inside the bark. Jack Thompson is an actual creator. And it's only a small step away from being a creator with wood and or concrete or metal than you are from the Godhead. As opposed to, you could reach the samadhi experience or enlightenment from sweeping a floor. It's a very, very common Zen practice for a Zen Buddhist master to make you sweep a floor. And it's possible to do that. But typically, when you are in already the creative aspect of reality, and then a small bit of meditation moves you to see that your creativeness and your oneness with the Godhead are much closer than you thought. So let's give Jack Thompson a big shout out for being the man that he is, and actually risking his life on a regular basis to create things for customers, let alone the fact that Jack has to make the phone calls to buy the material, go pick up the material with his truck, pay insurance for his truck, as opposed to some, happy-go-lucky guy who has a 9-to-5 job and has no risk at all during his daily existence other than to drive back and forth to get the company truck. Jack Thompson is the company truck. So anybody abusing Jack Thompson, well, when you don't understand greatness, usually you're going to put down greatness. And Jack Thompson, in my mind, is a great man. Not because he donated money to the Church of Christians Plus, but because he had the Kalyuns. He had the boys, and he had the boys to go out and create his own future by putting his boys on the line. Every day he goes to work, every time he climbs a ladder, every time he gets in his truck, every time he makes a lumber order, every time he gives somebody a price, he's putting it all out there. He is a true man, as opposed to men who have never had to worry about losing anything in life. And if you fit that category, God bless you. Okay, God bless you that you've had an easy life, but never put down a man like Jack Thompson. Never. Just don't do it. Okay, moving on. And we got some comments. Dave K is saying hello. Nomad Pasha to the great Chewbacca, baby. So let's sing. Let us sing in honor of Nomad Patriots 750 helicopter November Lima super chat, which understanding that 30 HML is $1.20. Therefore, 750 should be approximately 35 US dollars, which is a big donation. And these donations are staying separate from the Church of, from the Father Fund, Fazio Super Chat. So here we go. Thank you. This is an amazing sound. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. It's actually a better sound than the original. Thank you, Nomad Patriot Salama. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, I had the honor of meeting Nomad Patriot in person, and we had a fun-filled night sitting on the beach in Alona. We watched some Chinese people play some silly game that they were putting cups of sand upside down, and you had to navigate through them with blindfolded, while there was another Chinese person telling you to go left or right. And we looked at that for a good solid half hour before we figured out what they were doing, because it was all Chinese to us, no pun intended. Thank you, Nomad. Salamat. Happy Easter, my friend. Look forward to meeting you again, hopefully in the future, and we could do a collaboration. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. So Jack Thompson is talking to Nomad Patriot. Jack Thompson says that Nomad Patriot is an angry donator. Very, very angry man. He's a very angry man. He was so mad at me, he threw $35 up on my super chat, baby. And we should give Roberto a shout out. He made a video the other day that I found really interesting. I did not realize that there were so many people that went to Roberto, the Brown American expat, or Obet's channel, and he made a video. I laughed so hard, I couldn't stop laughing. He copied my live stream and the super chats that were made on a show, and then he made them go up and down on the screen like a rainbow. It was like I was looking, I was going, oh my God, this is, and then he had the song. He had a song in the background. The song evades me right now. He had a song, Doctor My Eyes. And those words, Doctor My Eyes, because the tears were coming out of my eyes, listening to the song and then watching Roberto make a rainbow. So if you haven't seen Roberto's video upload of rainbows and what rainbows are and who makes rainbows, go to Obert, the Brown American expat, or Roberto, the Brown American expat, for a laugh. And you deserve a laugh, because I got to tell you, the song Doctor My Eyes, and then the tears were flowing. And let's get back to the comment section. Big E is here. And as promised, I'm going to talk about my mistaken opinion about Big E originally, and how I sought out Big E's friendship after I said I wouldn't, because I realized I had made a mistake. So we'll talk about that. Canoy in the Philippines, welcome to the machine again. Canoy in the Philippines, Big E and Chie are also close friends, and I recommend going to Big E, Chie, and Canoy's live streams or channels and subscribing, as I do Arcelius Corner. Now, you were abused yesterday, Arcelius Corner. You were abused in ways that I don't really want to talk about right now, but you were accused of things that I don't believe are true, but you were abused by someone who abused you. So Jack Thompson. Now I want to say one more thing while we're here. Everybody on my live stream knows each other, and all of the people on my live stream have the ability to talk to me in person. Those of you who are not Patreon members, which are few on here, and you had a United States telephone number or an Australian telephone number, I would be happy to call up and say hello. If you're a Patreon member, I give everybody that option once a month. I send out an email. This month I did not because we had no computer services for several days. But I typically give everybody the opportunity to send me a working number for the U.S. John Escape, Scott Del Fuego, Warren Hunt. I don't really want to mention, well, Mr. Willis. Many people that are members of my Patreon community have the ability to send me a quick note, say, Mike, give me a call and give me their number. So that's one of the advantages to becoming a Patreon member, which I'll talk about momentarily. My Patreon pledges went up. They went up. One person tripled their pledge. If that person wants to say who it is, that's okay. One person doubled their pledge, and one new pledge at a relatively one of the highest rates possible. And I won't go involved with names. And I even offered that person a phone call, and I haven't heard back from that person. So another thing I want to talk about is G.E. Northrop. You may have heard that I stole your money, or that I absconded the money. That money is in a safe place. That money hasn't been spent. The monies that I collect towards the computer will go towards the computer. Warren has been trying to send money, the money that he pledged for the computer. Whether or not that ever happens, I don't know. I mean, the banking industry in the Philippines is so messed up. I actually went to the bank in the Philippines, actually sat down at the manager's desk, physically asked the manager to tell me what to do and put my bank book on the table. And he gave me wrong instructions. Wrong. Then, when Warren explained to me the money couldn't be sent, I called up the bank and got a woman who gave me what was known as a code. And I said to myself, no, she didn't sound competent enough. Number one, she didn't know the NATO phonetic alphabet. I couldn't understand what the code's name was. I couldn't understand her words. I probably asked her, without being exaggerating, I asked her more than 20 times, what did you say? 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 Because in her language, she probably understood what she said, but I don't understand the heavy accent and when they speak too fast. So I hung up the phone with her and I typed out a note to Warren and I said, no, I'm not comfortable with what she said. So I called up that same number and asked for a manager, which is different than the manager I sat down with. This is just a little insight to what you have to go through when you live in the Philippines. So I got a physical manager who pulled up my account. And I said to it was a woman in this case, what do I need to send? What information do I need to have a friend of mine from Australia send money to the Philippines? And she said, there's the specific name of a code. And I said, what is that code, ma'am? And she couldn't express it in English. I said, will you please use the NATO phonetic alphabet? And she didn't know what that was. I mean, here's the manager of a bank that doesn't know what the NATO phonetic alphabet is. So to be succinct, it's what pilots use or submariners or captains of ship use. It's a universal language, Alpha Bravo Charlie. You look up Alpha Bravo Charlie phonetic alphabet, and it'll come to Alpha Bravo Charlie NATO phonetic alphabet. So she didn't know what that was. So I probably went over those letters with her 3 to 5 times. Finally, when we got the letters in, the last letter was Mike, standing for M. And the first woman said Mike and said something afterward, at which point I just said, is that it? She said, yes. And I said, okay, thank you. The second woman said Mike. And then she said, and you're not supposed to do this. She says, and Mike. That means end, right? And M would be the last letter, or Mike would be the last letter. She said, Mike and Mike. Now, to me, that would be end, or she hesitated. That would be the last letter, Mike, and Mike. Okay, so, but I said, will you tell me what the last letter is? She said, Mike. So now tell me what the last 2 letters are. Well, she didn't use the word Mike. She used the word mother. So it sounds like brother, but I knew, I got it. So it was mother. So I said, Doha Mike, right? Doha mother. And she said, yes. So I spent a half an hour on the phone with these 2 women between hold and getting the proper letter. So I also spent 2 hours going to the city and 40 minutes on the manager's desk in my bank, and he gave me the wrong information. Then when I called him up and said, what is wrong with you that you gave me the wrong information to send money to your bank? He said, sorry, sir. Welcome to the Philippines. Okay, Arcelia's Corner is saying hello to Canoy. Canoy is saying hello to Arcelia's Corner and sending coffee to Canoy. Good morning. Jack Thompson, sending blessings to Brother Warren, like I explained how that would be. Well stated, Mr. Fazio. And I know we're way back in the comments, but Biggie did a dissertation on idols yesterday, and I know about idols. I do know about false idols. Anything, doesn't matter. The Lord, the energy that prevails throughout the universe, has no physical form. Therefore, if you worship a physical form, you're missing the point. Thank you thank you for the confirmation on that. You pray for others and not yourself, says Canoy in the Philippines. Good point. Actually, if you send out that energy, it will come back to you twofold. That's pretty much a logistical rule. Now, we won't get involved with that now, but what Canoy says is you don't necessarily pray for yourself. Now, you could pray for others, and it might not happen. Well, there are universal principles and laws that are behind whether or not a certain thing happens and whether or not it happens in your mind's eye. It may be happening behind the scenes. So you cannot make things happen unless you go and actually make the prayer come true. If you could go see Warren and hold his hand and give him some love and comfort, which I hope to do one day, then it would bring Warren that much closer to healing, hopefully. No guarantees. There are no guarantees. Biggie, Canoy in the Philippines, if you keep up these words of wisdom, we will have to ordain you in the Church of Christians Plus. Now, that's another point I'm going to go through. I'm going to be going to a site this week to get my ordination. I would like to become an ordained priest so that when the monies are collected, I can bless them. Bless you all. And remember, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. And remember the 3 tenets of the Church of Christians Plus. It is better for you to give to the Church of Christians Plus so that we may give to the children and locals in the form of a soup kitchen and or free foods than for you to receive. Okay? That means when you get your government check, you send it to the Church of Christians Plus. I'll take care of that part of it, and I will give it out. Now, you people think I'm kidding, but if you knew my neighbors, which none of you do, Okay. And you walked up and down my block, which it's perfectly okay for me for you to do that. And you asked the people on my block, am I a generous person? Not all of them will say yes, because I don't give to everybody on the block. I'm not going to give every single person on my block a gift. But the people that are dear to me, they all get gifts. So for Easter, for instance, my personal close grouping of friends all got 1 kilo of spaghetti and 1 kilo of sauce. Now, it was a limited amount, but everybody on the block knew. So does everybody on the block deserve to get a kilo of sauce and a kilo of spaghetti, which comes out to about just under 200 pesos? Okay. Well, the people that I designated my gifts to were all people who have at one time or another walked up to me and offered me a helping hand in something, even though I said no, thank you. Now, in one day, one of the people, I accepted his help. Okay. And then one day I asked him for something that had a value of about 1,000 pesos, but no value to him. And he just picked it up and put it in my hand. Now, he's a very giving person. So his family, which none of you will ever see, except the few that did, his family is where I spend my holidays and birthdays, my birthday and their birthdays. So these people are my friends here in the Philippines. So I hear stories about how people spit on the sidewalk when I walk by. I don't think so. I think that those types of stories lead or have led to delusional fantasies that are incorrect about who my friends are and my local friends, who I've also made an agreement never to put on YouTube, and they never have been on YouTube. So if you've ever seen anybody on YouTube, rest assured they're not my close personal friends. They may be people that allow me to videotape them, but they are not my friends. My friends who asked not to be put on YouTube, even though they let me make videos, will never be on YouTube. Okay. My friend that I talk about who creates his own place in the universe, who's a very famous man, I have video of us at his kitchen table, Daisy and I, and his girlfriend and himself. I have video of us on his property cleaning the yard. I have videos and pictures of his tattoos for proof that who he is and what place in the world but they don't go on YouTube, and they never will. So I'm one of the people that keep my word, which I'm going to keep my word about what I think about Big E in a few minutes. Let me get down to the bottom of this page. Big E Canoy says, Big E, I'm just a humble man. And you are. Go, Bobo sister. Welcome to the machine. Thank you for stopping by. And people are saying hello. Expat Prepper, it seems that Expat Prepper is here. Welcome to the machine, Larry. Thank you for stopping. And happy Easter to you, Larry. But please, I listened to your conversation and watched the words of you and Big E. This yesterday, where you had a fellowship in words as to what the Bible meant. I will agree with Big E at this point that you're welcome to voice your opinion, but I have, as Big E has, and other people have different opinions. Now, Big E's perspective about the Bible is a biblical perspective. Your understanding of the Bible can be interpreted as a truism or truisms, but they differ. And Big E has said many times that my version of the Bible and what it means is something completely different. Now, I would attribute that to something that the Bible says that we all have the ability to understand and speak in tongues. So Is the Bible a mystical book or magical book? Yes. Does everybody interpret it a different way? Yes. And is everybody's way proper? For me, whatever works for you is okay for me. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't. My interpretation of the Bible led me to the icons and pictographs on the dollar bill. Nobody in all of history, after the dollar bill was printed as is in 1935, nobody in all of history ever came to that conclusion, but somebody put those pictures on the dollar bill. And what I call the energy or the Lord God or the Christ head or the Buddha consciousness or the cosmic consciousness led me to see that the words in Genesis and Revelation refer to the pictures on the dollar bill. So I didn't put those words there. I didn't put those pictures there. I didn't even make up the story. I did factual research and proved that what I just said is true. So your idea about the Bible is welcome, but I will not, I'm not smart like Big E is where I could debate that and read the comments. So if you'd like to have a conversation with Big E, please, by all means, do so. So Big E says, whoa, you mean it's going to actually help people and not for a staff and overhead? Well, if you call a pot and a simple concrete structure overhead, no, there won't be a staff, I don't think. I mean, I think everybody should join the Church of Christians Plus and donate their time and money, because remember, Jesus said it is better to you give than to receive. And so, no, actually, some of the monies that were donated to me 2 days ago in the video that you see, Obet, the Brown American expat, not all of it, but probably a third of that, or maybe a little bit more, went out to the neighbors. And that's okay, because I bought it for them anyway. I didn't go to the store and buy 15 kilos of spaghetti and 15 bags of sauce for myself. I bought some of it for myself, but the rest I bought for Easter. So, yes, some of it will go to the neighbors. And to be honest, the people who I spend the holidays with, they're very generous to the neighbors too. So, and I don't give them foods for the children. I give them monies for the parties that they have, a small amount of money, and then they in turn buy rice, soda, little 6 or 7 ounce containers of soda. For instance, on Christmas, 200 children were fed, probably more. 500 people were fed the day of Christmas altogether, because at night, 500 people probably through that person's house to pick up a meal, and some came for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So this is one of the most generous people I've ever met. The amount of money I put in isn't even 1% of probably what they spent, maybe 2%, but they spend a lot of money. They're a very wealthy family, but they are very giving. So there are people in the Philippines. Nobody on my block is starving. Let's put it like that. I won't tell you why, but it's just not happening. So thanks for the comment. No, it's not all going to charity. So Sparky 9067, my friend. Oh my God, Sparky. Well, walang problema. Hi, Michael. Just stopping by to say hello. Catching up on the videos. Missed the last few months. Enjoy the old stories. Would like to talk and catch up. Send message on Patreon. I'll give the number again. Okay. Hold on. Let me get that in my notes. Okay. I'm going to put this down. very big letters, and I'll make it the color of blue. And um, it'll be in 72 font. See if that fits on the screen. Yeah, baby. Yeah, okay. So we have that saved. All right. I will give you a call immediately after the show. If my computer is still up and running, that will happen. So Expat Prepper says, Hoodwink, happy to see you again. Thank you, Expat. So the conversation that Expat Prepper and Big E had went on for 15 minutes, and there was no animosity at the end of the conversation. Both people shared their opinions. Now, as soon as I get to the bottom of the comments, and I'm there now, I'm going to tell you about my opinion about Big E and his understanding of the Bible, as opposed to mine or even Expat Preppers. So, Spanky, that's going to happen. A blessed East. John escaped, another major factor in the Patreon community. Thank you. And everybody in Patreon, no matter their pledge, my original promise to send each person every new upload individually, because the new people, well, it actually hasn't happened yet. The new people that I said that will start donating at the under $20 mark will only be privy to the $20 mark and above, or excuse me, only be privy from the dollar to the $20 mark. But no one has joined at below the $20 mark in the last 6 weeks. So I want to thank everybody for that. One person reduced his pledge from the $20 mark to the $3 mark. However, my agreement with my Patreon members is, if you are a member currently at any pledge level, you will receive all the updates at no matter where they're pledged publicly. And I kept my agreement. Anybody here will know that the person that, because of financial difficulties, went from $20 to $3, he still receives an update on every I put to Patreon. And all the $1 and $3 and $5 and $10 Patreons also receive as an individual email with the link in it. So anybody new under the $20 pledge will only see what's at the $20 from $0 to $20. But anybody new at the $3 or $5 pledge, they will be able to see all the previous pledges from $3 or $5 for the last year and a half. So as far as my Patreon members are concerned, everybody is okay with that agreement. Now, you can ask people that are here right now if I kept my word, and no one will say no, because I did. Now, Big E, okay, is making some more comments. All right, so John Escape says a blessed Easter, and John Escape is actually quite a religious man. So thank you, John Escape. Happy Easter to you as well. You and the missus, who I will be calling this week, just to say hello and keep you up to date. Big E, the beauty of life is being able to listen to someone disagree respectfully and remain friends. And in that regard, you would have to say to yourself, Michael Fazio and Big E be friends? And I will tell you, at some point, the reality of life has to set in, and you have to accept the fact that there are attributes that you have to give a person without knowing why. Okay, intelligence is an attribute that Big E has, but I didn't see it at first. I thought, like other people, that he was just an egomaniac and that he was what we call a liar, and Visaya is Bakakun. Okay, now that's where I went with that, and I even made 3 actual physical statements in my live streams that I believed he was lying, and that I asked him for proof. At which point he never responded, And then after the third time, I said to him, if you want me to believe you, prove it. He just didn't respond anymore. I never I never kept up with that kind of a conversation. I didn't even go see his video that he made about me till weeks later. I never went to his channel. I said, this guy is, he's not a sock account, but he's just all full of himself. So one day I just got the idea in my head, let me go see what he really has to say, because I hear him all over the place. So I watched a couple of his live streams. And I see that the man is more intelligent. He's more intelligent than me, that's for sure. And he has the ability to utilize the English language as well as the Del Fuego, the Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, and or the Jack Thompson. He has the ability to articulate the words of the English language. I'm going, this guy is way, way smarter than I give him credit for. So I watched a few more videos. Then I watched a show where he was interviewing a poor woman, and I've talked about this many times, who put 6 people through college in her family by working 16 hours a day. And I said, you know what? This guy, he is way beyond what YouTube should offer as far as interviews. And, just his ability to articulate. And she was very comfortable with his interview. But then as I started to learn more about the Big E, then there was the nonsense that Big E and Chie, Big E was doing this with Chie and doing that with Chie, and I'm going to myself, well, let me go see what Chie's show is about. So Chie's show, without Big E, would have not ever been successful. But he helped her formulate a proper show. And now he's getting abused because of that. Verbally abused by several people. If you look at the comment section on several people. So I can tell you, whoever is abusing Big E for being a fraud, I will tell you that's not true. I don't believe it to be true. You're not going to make me believe it to be true, and I have no physical evidence to the contrary. But listening to Big E on one of his shows with Chie Corsaz talk about chemicals whose names I can pronounce or remember, listening to his ability to rattle off several chemicals or chemical compounds that formulate certain types of drugs or pills, okay? Listening to his ability to do that, I'm going to myself, wait a minute. So I looked up a couple of the names, and I'm going, yeah, those are the real things. Those are the chemical formulas for how would he remember to rattle off his tongue the chemical formulas to make certain drugs, unless he actually did study chemical engineering? I don't think it would be possible. To read a movie script with words in front of your face, probably. You could read a couple of chemicals, but he rattles off stuff from chemical combinations and what they do to the body and how they interact with the psychosomatic on a psychosomatic level. He actually knows this stuff. So when he said he graduated from Stanford, I have no proof of that. I don't even want proof of that. But I believe he did study chemical engineering. So when he says that he was very giving and he often interviews children. Now this is giving. This is real true giving. This is benefiting sometimes individuals and sometimes whole communities. But when he says he interviews children for positions to take a full scholarship for college, okay, that's no small feat. So if he does this, and I believe he does, then he is actually giving a child 100,000 pesos a year for a scholarship to go to school for 4 years, and then the company that Big E works for, when he graduates, the child will have the opportunity to work for Big E's company. So at first, that sounds like a big story. Sounds like a bunch of nonsense. But now we have Arcelius Corner and Sob and a few other people that actually physically work for Big E, and they don't deny any of that to be true. So we don't just have the voice of Big E stating that he does full scholarships for certain people. We have now multiple people, multiple accounts who, if I wanted to and have not reached out to, I could probably talk to directly. But I don't need to talk to those people directly to believe that they are real people. They have videos, they have pages, they have uploads, they come on shows. So they confirm what Big E said he does. Now, do I need more proof than that? Not really. No. And then to make matters even more concrete in people's minds, the fact that Big E has stood by people like Big Kevin and Chie, and now myself, and has stood by us even though our philosophies on life are completely different, means that he has the ability to see a real person. Like, for instance, Big Kevin. I keep hearing stories that Big Kevin doesn't deserve Super Chat, and I don't understand that concept. Big Kevin has a limited ability, okay, yep, because of his limited ability to be mobile. Okay, he did that to himself, that's agreed upon, but he also has put on a show, and his show brings a form of entertainment to YouTube, and that's what he says his show is about. So therefore, if you give money to Big Kevin, why put Kevin in a box that he's just some useless eater, as Henry Kissinger would say? Why put Kevin in a box that he can't walk? He's gonna get he's too fat. Why do that? Why don't you just say Big Kevin is a big fat guy that puts on a good show? Go to the comedy shows called Dry Bar Comedy, and some of these guys are bigger than Big Kevin, and they're on stage collecting whatever money they make per night and their YouTube residuals. But I watched a guy that was way bigger than Big Kevin, and some of his skits, Big Kevin's skits, were funnier than this guy. I didn't find the guy funny. A couple of things he said was funny, but Big Kevin puts on a show. Now, Chie says she shows you the simplicity of the female vlogger in the Philippines. And someone who 8 months ago didn't understand English, who has the understanding of English now that she does, she's actually, I would have to say she's quite intelligent to learn English in 8 months. But she actually does put on a show. Now, her ability to sing leaves to be desired. But she does sing the thank you song, like heaven sent down a choir of angels and put them on her shoulders. So I plan on being with Big E and Chie and doing the thank you song together, and maybe we'll do it individually, and then we'll do a culmination of the three voices, and we'll figure something out. So, digressing back to who Big E is and whether or not Big E is a fraud, without any proof other than what Big E has said on YouTube, without knowing any more than some pretty shallow conversations that we have, nothing earth-shattering. We talked about my philosophy about the dollar bill. We talked about my philosophy on whether or not people went to the moon. He is completely on the other end of the spectrum when it comes to whether or not people went to the moon. He believes that people went to the moon. I used to believe people went to the moon. He believes in the fact that the Earth is a globe. I believe by navigational and or physical forms that the Earth is flat or close to flat. Okay, so he and I disagree on two of the biggest possible conflicts to be possible. I mean, but with the caveat that 40% of the people my age that used to believe people went to the moon no longer believe that because of a man named Bart Sibrel, who has a 5-minute video that says this 5-minute video will prove man never went to the moon. And he uses the shadows created by an artificial sun from a photograph that is supposed to be taken on the moon, and then moves through his theory that if this photograph is fake, therefore they are all fake. Plus, there are many other proofs that Bart Sibrel produces, like no dust on the lander's landing gear, none on any lander. So once they made the mistake of not putting dust on the lander's pads or pods that landed on the dirt, even though 8,000 pounds of thrust was kicking up dust and rocks and dirt. Once they made that mistake, they could never change the no dust on the landing pads. So I dare any of you people to go out there and with a lawn blower, a little simple lawn blower, hand blower, an electric hand blower, go out and put it in the dirt. Just stick it straight down on a dusty surface, see what happens. Okay, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna get my echo blower running properly again, and in sand, I could wash. If I put it straight down in the dirt, I could make a hole damn near a foot in just a few seconds. And if I did that, the sand would blow into my ears and in my face and in my hair and around me for 10 or 15 feet and downwind 20 or 30 feet. So when the lander landed on the moon and you had 8,000 pounds of thrust and the astronaut, not astronaut, that's why they call them astronauts. The astronaut, you couldn't hear the engines in the background. Well, 8,000 pounds of thrust, and the astronaut was only about 36 inches away, and the thickness of a piece of aluminum foil between him and the 8,000 pounds of thrust. And he's going, oh, we're 10 meters from the surface of the moon. And you could hear every word. You couldn't hear the engine, but you got 8,000 pounds of thrust ready to blow off. And then we're 5 meters. And when it hit the ground, that 8,000 pounds of thrust has to be on to stop it before it hits the ground, because otherwise there'd be no spring capable of holding that back. But more than that, there's no dust on any of the landing pads in any mission. But more than that, Big E and anybody else that's out there that thinks that we landed on the moon, why, if an astronaut that worked out for the last 30 years of his life every day in tip-top physical condition, 2 days away from Earth, when there was astronauts on the moon, and there were two, why didn't they jump 6 times the height of 18 inches? A man, 180-pound man in tip-top shape should be able to jump up 18 inches, or certainly 12 inches with a 180-pound backpack that only weighs 60 pounds. So anybody could jump up 12 inches. Why didn't they jump up 6 feet? Or, more to the point, why didn't each astronaut grab, and I don't mean to be facetious here, why didn't each astronaut grab the ankles of the other astronaut and pick that astronaut up over their head? Because theoretically, 180-pound man at 1/6 gravity would be 30 pounds. And then the backpack would be another 30 pounds. So that's 60 pounds. Are you telling me a man in tip-top shape that weighs 180 pounds can't pick up 60 pounds? Well, I'll beg to differ. So why didn't each astronaut pick up the other astronaut by the ankles? Carl Vella's father was stronger than any astronaut could ever hope to be. Because I was standing in Carl Vella's father's house when I was a freshman in high school, and Carl Vella's father said that he was stronger than me, and I'm going, no way, that's possible. And I will never forget, we were standing at the bottom of the staircase in Carl Vella's living room, and Carl Vella's father said he was stronger than me. I was working out with weights and stuff like that, and I was running every day and playing handball. And he said, "Go ahead. I bet you I'm stronger." And he says, "I bet. All right, we'll do an exercise." And he said, "Bend over." So I could always bend over and touch the floor. He said, "Now I want you to grab your ankles." So I grabbed my ankles. He goes, "Now pick yourself up off the floor." I just couldn't do that. I mean, that was not possible, right? But Carl Vella's father was stronger than I was, because he said, "Okay, so you can't do that." He goes, "But I can." And he bent over and he grabbed his ankles and he picked himself up off the floor by jumping. Now, I thought that was the funniest thing ever, because I said, "You cheated." He goes, "No, I picked myself up," because he did jerk his hands up. So it's just a little story I wanted to interject there. But I remember Mr. Vella was very good to us as children. Thanks. Say hello to your dad for me, Carl. So, and wish your mom and dad a happy Easter. So thanks to my research on Big E and listening to his stories, I can tell you that Big E is what he says he is. Now, all the things that he says he is, I don't believe that Big E I don't believe that. Let's pick out something really good. I don't believe that Big E was being serious when he does the Dr. Love show. So no, I don't believe the Dr. Love. I don't believe that there was another doctor. And you people that believe that he was talking to a doctor that didn't exist, that shows me what kind of a limited understanding that you have as far as comedy. So do I believe everything that Big E says? No. But when Big E is being serious and you listen to him, he's telling you the truth. His chemical engineering degree, whether or not he has a degree in chemical engineering, he certainly went through the course. There's no way he could rattle all that stuff off. Even reading it from a book, I don't believe you could rattle it off your tongue 25, 30 years later as fluently as he does. Now, does he understand the Bible? Yep, he does. That, I believe he understands the words in the Bible as he calls it from the Calvinistic point of view. Do I agree with what he says about the Bible? I agree that from his point of view, it's correct. But I also agree that the Bible, I agree with myself, okay? I agree that the Bible is a spiritual or mystical or magical book, and each person interprets it differently. However, it does speak to people. You can open up the Bible on any given day and ask it a question, and I don't know how it does it, but it answers your question most of the time. It might answer your question in a question, but it does work. I think that if people do a little prayer or meditation, asking what we perceive to be God for an answer, and you open up the Bible, I believe that most of the times it's going to have a verse directly related to your question. How it does that, I don't know. I do know that I spoke about, I don't know that I want to go into that story, but I spoke about Peter breaking out of his bonds while he was in prison, okay? And that the guards fell asleep and he walked through several gates and all the guards fell asleep. And as he walked through the gates, the chains fell to the floor or broke or whatever. And he just walked out and started preaching again. Now, do I believe that story is possible? Physically, yes, I believe that. Because this thing that we perceive to be God, whether or not it's God or God per se, physical, the actual God, okay, it has the ability to pretend to be God. And that's why I believe the Bible has so many truths in it as far as what's going on in today's world. So let me go back to the comments, and then I'll go back to the Bible. The Bible, in my opinion, could have only been written by in two ways. One, somebody from the future came back and wrote the Bible, or someone that, or something that is pretending to be God has created the future already and wrote about the future. But which one of those is a conundrum, because, okay, we'll get into what's going on right now today. Everybody knows about the feast, right? The feast is this underworld character that will eventually take over the world. It's the feast, F-E-A-S-T, the feast. What we have is a new feast, or an NWO feast, right? Okay, or the feast of the NWO. It's the feast. It's a big party. Everybody gets together and gets a chip in their hand, potato chips in their hand. Everybody gets one. So it's the mark of the feast, F-E-A-S-T. The mark of the feast was spoken about, placed in the right hand or the forehead of every man, woman, and child, which will register with the mark of the feast so that they can get potato chips in their hand. So that happened just yesterday. Easter, baby. They announced that worldwide and globally that they would like to have a mandatory vaccination program and be able to keep track of people either on iPhones or RFID chips. Okay, I want you to Google the Jericho report. Google it on YouTube. Google it and go see what Make Electric and the Jericho report have to say about what was announced yesterday on Easter Sunday while everybody was feasting with their family. Go see that all the governors of all the major states in America all came up and agree with President Trump, who I told you a year and a half or 2 years ago was going to be worse than Mr. Obama. I told you he was never going to keep his promises. Mr. Trump, I mistake about Mr. Obama. Mr. Obama was far superior or inferior as to how he could destroy America. Mr. Trump has trumped Mr. Obama's sinister ways, let's say. Mr. Obama had great or non-great plans for America. And where Mr. Obama failed, Mr. Trump has succeeded. He has taken over the minds and souls of every man, woman, and child in America, in China, in Argentina, in Africa. All Democrats, all Republicans, and all independents are now, no matter what their political position was last year, they all agree that we have to have the feast, the potato chips in the right hand or the potato chips on the forehead, the mark of the feast. They all agree it's coming. No longer will you be able to shake hands with people. What you knew as the past is the past. Fauci said things will never go back to normal, and we may have to imply rules that will prevent people from shaking hands with one another. Last week, a man got arrested in a park for playing ball with his daughter, his 6-year-old daughter. Now, I'm not sure if he got arrested or just handcuffed, but he was handcuffed. He was 100 feet away from the filming crew, and he got arrested or handcuffed because he was passing a ball back and forth with his 6-year-old daughter in a public park. Every governor, every senator, every congressman all agree that we need to have new rules. And those rules will include the potato chip in the hand. That's right. The potato chip in the hand, it's coming. Now, the Bible predicted this, or did it? Did something from the future that knew the future, or something from the future that ordained the future, or something from the future that is God-like in nature, but not God? Let's clear that up right now. This is not God that is doing this. This is a whole different entity. And that's why they call it the mark of the feast. That's why they call it the mark of the feast in the Bible. Something new, that certain things, this is a nexus in history where we're at now. What the Bible said and what's occurring right now in real life is a nexus in time and thoughts and beliefs in history. The world as you knew it ceased to exist on March 22nd when they shut down New York City as the financial capital of the world. I could go on and on with my political point of view, but what's happening right now is when they locked down America, the only newspaper headlines that you ever saw the day that all of these new institutions went into effect was $1,200 stimulus check, baby. That's right. And that's all you read about was the 12. All the things that were passed through Congress and the Senate, the United Nations passed across the desk of the WHO and passed across the desk of FEMA and passed across the desk of the Red Cross and passed across the desk of Russia, China, Germany, India, Pakistan, all the things that were passed across the desk on 3/22 of 2020, all those things. The only thing you read about is that there's going to be a stimulus check. All those other things went on behind closed doors. So, was the Bible correct? Or did this thing that has always controlled this flat earth for billions, not millions of years, did this thing know this was going to happen and put it in the Bible so that people would believe in the Bible? I'm not saying what's in the Bible isn't true, but how did it get there? Was it really God, as Big E would believe it to be? And that's where we disagree. Or was it something else that put it there in order for us to believe in the Bible, and more specifically, certain parts of the New Testament as opposed to the Old Testament? But I don't read the Bible as the Old and New Testament. I read it as a culmination of all the thoughts of this thing that we perceive to be God. And if you read it enough times in succession from cover to cover, you come to a completely different understanding of the words in the Bible. You'll see parallel stories like the trial by fire. You'll see parallel stories to Daniel taking the thorn out of the lion's paw. You'll see parallel stories where they don't exist, because you'll understand things from a higher plane of consciousness. And Big E, expat patriot, myself, and whoever else believes in the Bible, for us, it's a magical book, but for different reasons. Now, can anybody deny that the first 17 verses of the book of Genesis is the left seal of the United States? Well, you might say so. You might think you could deny it, but if you read my book, Angels on the Ark, you can no longer deny that. The first 17 verses of the book of Genesis are inside the Great Seal with the pyramid on it. Can anybody deny that the book of Revelation is the right seal with the eagle or the evil seed of death? I call the eagle the evil seed of death. I call the pyramid the God pod, the God pod. I call the Great Pyramid the God pod, and I call the eagle the evil seed of death. Can anybody deny that in the left, you could do whatever you want. You can make fun of me, you fools outline. I was offline. You fools out there, I'm going to show you the dollar bill. I'm going to show it to you. The Great Pyramid, everything inside the seal of the Great Pyramid, we are offline again. Yep. We've been on and offline twice. So you have to take a dollar bill out of your pocket because it doesn't like the dollar bill. So, and the algorithm knows that the dollar bill is part of my my forte. So we're offline again. And we're back online again. Yeah, baby. See how that works out? About real things. Fazio gets disconnected, baby. All right, expat prepper in Cebu. I enjoyed our conversation and I respect your insight. And after the stream went down last night, I spent an hour pondering what you had to say on the subject. Okay, so they're working that out between themselves. Arcelius Corner. Oh, we have the Scott Del Fuego is here. We have the Del Fuego, the wordsmith. Okay, so let me get through the comments quick. Whoa, we have lots of comments. We have lots of comments. We have Princess Anud, Sob Adventures. Okay, Brandon, just Brandon is here. Welcome to the machine. Oh boy, we got a lot. I didn't realize there were so many. I'm going to run right through this. Sub says, hi, John Escape. Canoy says, Sub. Hello, good morning. Adventures. Also, expat preppers from Sub. Hello. Adventures. Muy bro, Canoy. Sub. Hello, Sub. Hope you had a nice Easter. John Escape to Sub. Expat prepper. Just came back from the Robinson shopping. They were completely out of rice, completely out of hamburger, and they were completely out of sliced bread and completely out of eggs. Thank you for the update, expat prepper. Sob Adventures. Hello, Sister Sob. John, expat prepper. I bet you they had plenty of snacks. Yeah, that junk food. They will never run out of junk food. They had all the Pringles potato chips you could carry, says expat prepper. The coffee house says, have a good day. Goodbye all. Thank you for stopping by. But expat, no darn. John Escape. But expat, no darn Parmesan grated cheese unless you have American Express. That stuff's expensive in the Philippines. Just Brandon. Oh my God, expat, that's a shame. And it is, Brandon. Welcome to the machine, Just Brandon. Sob Adventures. Haha, Just Brandon is in the house. Sob Adventures. Just Brandon. How are you? Just Brandon. Question. Arcelius Corner, the coffee house, be safe. Saying goodbye to the coffee house. Thank you for acknowledging the coffee house in the house, baby. John Escape, yep, you got it. Hello, Just Brandon. Got it. Okay, and now I'm back online. Big E, you have my respect from John Escape. John and I talked about Big E extensively over the phone. And we're offline again. We're offline again. We are on and offline. I don't know why, but we are on and offline. Big E says, I laugh when I hear people who never knew me. And that's a big expression on YouTube. People you've never met and never knew you are judging you and what you do. The trolls got to love it, says Big E. And he's right. They do that with myself also. I heard somebody say that I licked Warren H's rectum and gave Warren H an STD. Now, is that true? No, that's not true. But I heard that said. Now, That's a troll. That's a troll. Gotta love it. Big E. Just Brandon, I'm good. I can't believe some pace don't have food. This is getting crazy. Okay, Just Brandon says, I'm good. I can't believe some place don't have foods. This is getting crazy. Princess Anud, welcome to the machine. Princess, I'm going to tell people she's doing live streams. Oh, God. I'm offline again. I'm on and offline again. But Princess, I am now subscribed to several thousand channels. I don't even go to people's live streams. I do live streams. I like the information and the kryptonite information, like energy that you get from the Big E 4 p.m. show. I even started a playlist called Big E Kryptonite, I think, on my page, or Big E's Easter Extravaganza. I even started. I'm going to start posting Sob's videos and Big E's videos. I'm losing my connection more and more often now, just because I put the dollar bill on the screen. Pretty sick. You people out there that don't think that there is machine learning and algorithms, you are dumber than rocks. So, Princess Anud, I just don't have time to go to a lot of people's live streams. I apologize. Just Brandon says his internet is also so slow he can't watch videos, or it's poor quality. That's true. Sob, that's sad to hear, Just Brandon. And just a day, and there goes my internet again. My internet is very intermittent, as Scott Del Fuego says, internet. So, Arcelius Corner, who works for Big E and knows that Big E tells the truth. So many trolls who just wanted to pull you down, boss. And she always throws in that boss because she loves him, a.k.a. Big E, as her boss. Apparently, he's a good boss. I don't know. I know that I've grown to like Big E as a friend. I made a mistake judging Big E, although I had justification for making that mistake. Then I realized he doesn't really have to prove anything to me. And then by watching his words and live streams, I realized he did prove his knowledge of chemical engineering. Probably everything else is true as well. But I have no physical proof to back it up. It's just faith. I have faith that Big E is an honest and honorable man. And now we have the Del Fuego is here. The Scott Del Fuego is giving us an update. Chicago, Illinois, USA is the eye of Easter Sunday. While I have prayed in my own way to the risen Christ and his Father, I now have time for enjoyment of a man with unlimited vision. Fazio time! Father Fun, at your service, Scott Del Fuego, who I would like to call you if you're going to be awake after I call Spanky 9067. Just let me know. My live stream keeps flashing on and off. I don't even know if it's still on. Sob says, show the thumbs up. I don't even, thank you, Sob. Canoy in the Philippines, expat prepper. That's funny, though. Big Kev will unblock you, I'm sure. So, expat prepper did say to Big Kevin, and I watched it happen. Expat prepper said to Big Kevin that he used to eat lead paint chips when he was a child. Ha, ha, ha. I think he still wants to hit. LOL. Well, I actually remember hearing that or watching it live. So thanks for Big Kevin. I'm sure will forgive you. All you have to do is say the words and he'll forgive you. He's a very forgiving person. Expat Prepper, Canoe in the Philippines. I like the guy. I would never kid with him if I didn't like him. He's a good guy. Kevin is funny and he deserves to make money. Kevin is funny and he deserves to make money. Thanks, Expat Prepper. John Escape says hello, Scott. Scott says hello, John Escape. John Escape says Big Kevin is a good guy. Expat, you're right. Scott Del Fuego. Happy Easter, John Escape. Arcelius Corner. Hello, Scott Del Fuego. Expat Prepper. I will talk to Kev. You. Oh. Thank you. Thank you, Canoe in the Philippines. I guess it's just that time of the day where everybody's using the internet. But it did start when I put the dollar bill on the screen. You just remember that when the time comes. Algorithms. Yep, there we go. Again. Okay. Canoe. Scott Del Fuego. Hello from Canoe in the Philippines. Princess Anud. I just stopped by to say hi, host, and hi, everyone here. Have a nice day. Need to go do things I have to do. Sob Advent. Thank you, Princess Anud. Thank you for stopping by and welcome to the machine. Sob Adventures. Wow, the lead, bro, Canoe, is to make people be back to the friend. That's the way I like you, bro, Canoe. So, while the lead, bro, okay, the lead, bro, Canoe, is to make people to be back as friends. So, Sob is thanking Canoe in the Philippines for making nice between Expat Prepper and Big Kevin. Thank you, Canoe in the Philippines. And once Kevin sees that you're sorry, whether or not you're sorry, it's immaterial. But once he sees you're sorry, he'll let you back on his show. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy, and he knows that the more people that watch his show, the better. I'm not so forgiving. On again, off again. On again, off again. Again, off again. Hold on, I need water. Okay, I got water. Out of the ICU in his regular room, John Escape. I spoke about that at the beginning of the video. However, they have him highly medicated. So at the end of this show, I will turn on Skype, but I don't think there's enough data. But I think when I turn on Skype, my live stream will get cut short 100%. But Warren was watching, said he was going to watch my show when last I received the message from Warren. So he is out of the ICU. Warren, John Escape is saying hello and happy Easter. If you're only listening to this in his message, Warren, hi, if you're looking, happy Easter. What he meant is, Warren, if you're listening, happy Easter from not only John Escape, from everybody, Warren. Even though we know that Easter is a fictitious holiday at best, in regards to what the media mainstream hypes it up to be. We can say happy Easter with some love, and so happy Easter, Warren. Hanoi in the Philippines with words of wisdom. Sob, we are all brothers and sisters. If I can bring people together, then it's just my pleasure. It's a small thing we do. So if a person is in the spirit of the Holy Ghost, and that's possible, and in touch with the Godhead of the universe, Tannoy's position to bring people together would be acceptable and common, more common than the opposite end of the spectrum, where some people that move into higher planes of consciousness are moving into the dark side of that force. So from a higher plane of and we know that exists because of the movie Exorcist and many, many, many other new age science fiction movies where the soul is taken over and the person knows just pure unadulterated evil. I mean, we know that exists, not because it's put in science fiction movies, but it's spoken about in the Bible. When Jesus said, Satan, get behind me, he knew that Satan existed, the force of Satan existed. And then he prays to the Father. That's the positive side of the force. In Star Wars, it's good and evil, the dark side and the side of light. We have people out there on both sides of the force, and you know who they are. So we don't have to get involved with who they are, but understand that the dark side of the force or the energy, or the fact that people have given up their soul to the dark side, that those things exist in real life. It's not problematic. You can buy a book on witchcraft, and it will tell you how to do incantations to become closer to what we perceive to be Satan. I mean, it's not theory. There are entire books written on the topic. And then once you move up into some of these higher echelons of philosophical points of view, the Illuminati, the Pope, the Vatican, the bishops, they all know that the dark side exists. They have firsthand experience with that. I mean, the fact that President Trump is going to make Obama look like baby steps to the destruction of America. The fact that President Trump is going to make Obama look like child's play, what he's doing to America. The fact that President Trump, he'll never, ever make America great again. He will make America one again, as in one world order, but he is not going to make America. There we go. He is going to be the sole contributor to the entire destruction of the economic platform of the world. Okay, don't make any bones about it. He's taking over the airlines. He's taking over the banking industry. He's taking over the railroads. And now he's taking over the shipping companies. Okay, he's making he's consolidating their debt into the U.S. fiscal budget. He's saying that the airlines will be an arm of the government, as if it isn't already. The big car industries that won't be able to, that are all going under as well. Trump is going to help them out. Like we need more help from the government. Trump is going to do things that Obama only dreamt of. He's not done with America. Fauci said no one will ever shake hands again if it's up to him. And WHO, is now putting forth legislation that if you want to do banking, you'll need to have potato chips in your hand. And if you want to send your children to school, they'll have to have potato chips in their hand to say that they don't. All right, and on with the show. God bless everybody. Easter Sunday. Let's see if we get that algorithm to stop shutting this channel down. And Big E says we use satire to make greater points. That's true. Satire is the key. And even Big E comes on his show right in the beginning and announces that his show is about comedy and satire, even he says that, you still have these little minions of the dark side that don't believe that Big E is creating satire, or myself. Anybody stupid enough to believe that I'm going to give the church the money that's donated to me for the church, are you really that stupid? No, I'm only kidding. Of course, the church is going to receive all the money. You people don't get it, do you? It's satire. Would I start a church? Yeah, darn straight I would. In fact, I always wanted to start not a church, but a foundation to feed people. I just was never successful enough to make that happen. But one day, maybe that'll happen. But the Church of Christians Plus gives us that opportunity. Now, in regards to theme, I got to tell you, the YouTube gods are not, they're not participating. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, all right, so Big E says, we use satire to make greater points. Big E, Sob is sending love, kisses, and thumbs up to Canoy in the Philippines. Wow, I could see today. I don't consume salt anymore at all, and my vision picked up quite a bit. Not only that, he has a state license to practice it. I don't know who has a state license to practice what? Big B. Ha ha ha. Well, I will be going. I actually started Googling this morning places to get my ministry ordained ministry online. And now it should be easy. Now it should be easy to start an online church, because now you can't do anything in person anymore. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you very much. Mr. Trump is going to do things to America that Mr. Obama only dreamt of. Thank you very much. President Trump, always in my mind every day, by the way. He read cover, Sob Adventure says he read cover to cover. I moved the Trump puppet and we lost the connection again. I don't know what's going on. So let me get back to this. I'm going to end this. I'm going to go 2 hours, which is like 6 more minutes. Big East is getting some information from Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson says, Big E, very correct to think. Jack Thompson says, we hide the truth in satire to get the low information folks to think. Like when I say potato chips in your hand, that's satire. You know darn well what I mean. It's coming. It's biblical. It's going to happen, and it's going to get way worse than it is now. Promise. Biggie said this yesterday in his live stream. The Bible is meant for the common man, not a special class of men. And, oh, God, the live stream is flashing on and off. Biggie is correct. The common man can pick up the Bible, ask it a question, pray, and receive an answer. I'm not mad at Jack Thompson. I'm not upset with Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson, when he over the fence, And Jack Thompson has been fence jumping. Jack Thompson only jumps over the fence so he could pee on the other side. That's the only reason Jack Thompson jumps the fence. He wishes to go spread some yellow snow. Well, the potential. Jack Thompson jumps over the fence so he doesn't have to pee in my yard. Goes over the fence to pee in somebody else's yard. That's the only reason Jack Thompson jumps the fence. Fence jumpers jump the fence and come in my direction. There are very few of my friends that jump the fence and go to the other side. And the other fence jumpers that jump the fence and come to my channel, there are many, multitudes. Michael Fihili was one fence jumper, a historic and famous fence jumper. The guy who sold the motorcycle jumped the fence and is now a very, many ways, a very, and even shall we go and show some love that we received? Even Nomad Patriot. To the great Chewbacca, baby. Even Nomad Patriot. I saw Nomad Patriot look like he was jumping rope this week. He's climbing over. So I'm going to tell you, the coffee house 30. That's correct. It's not 35. It's $30. That's correct. I apologize. I made a quick calculation and I used the wrong number. Coffee house. Okay. So it's still quite the sum of money. And it is $30. I figured that out later on, but thank you for correcting me. $30.42 US dollars. Thank you very much. The coffee horse. Salamat. Okay, we're close to the end. So we were talking about fence jumpers, and Jack Thompson did jump the fence, but he only jumped the fence to pee on. We see Super Chat. Let's see what that's about. Love the blessing to our brothers and sisters. Canoy in the Philippines. Super Chat. Let's ring the church bell. The new church bell. This church bell is going to be polished, cleaned up, and tattooed properly. So let's sing the thank you song to Canoy in the Philippines. You know what? I'm going to put one of these pieces of metal up there. Let's see what that sounds like. Oh, that's way better. Less. Oh, God. Oh, God. Warren. Hello, Warren. Canoy in the Philippines. Thank you. Yep. Not happening here. There's no love, no joy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Canoy in the Philippines. Bait. I don't like that at all. We got to start again. This is just, I need to make a stick. I need to make a 3-prong. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Canoy in the Philippines. Salamat. Now we'll try it with the pot. The internet is flashing on and off. Flashing colors on my screen. Canoy sends green. It's a rainbow. Flashing colors on my screen. Nomad Patriot starts it off with red and orange. And we end up with green on my screen from Canoy in the Philippines, which rhymes with green. I see green on my screen. The love from Canoy in the Philippines. Let's get back to the, I'm going to have to add some minutes to this live stream because YouTube keeps starting and stopping it. Jack Thompson says to Biggie, we, very correct, we hide the truth in satire to get low information folks to think. And that's what Jack tries to teach people when he jumps over the fence. Not only does Jack jump over the fence to pee on the other side of the fence so he doesn't make a mess in my yard, he tries to teach people the truths about public social media. Biggie says the Bible was meant for the common man and not a special class of men. That's true. So when you listen to Big E's show, I hope you go back and listen to Big E's Easter show. It's the only show on my playlist on my channel. It's the Big E Easter extravaganza. If you listen to his show, he does not believe in preachers or buildings or idols or icons. And he's right. And when two or three gather in my name, that is one of the truisms of the Bible that I believe, that you can be together with two, and the energy that is created when two or three people focus on their concept of God, be it just those three people's concept, energy is created more so than if you listen to some rote memorization nonsense from being spewed out at a pulpit. I don't adhere to any of that nonsense. So I'm not mad, Scott, at Jack Thompson. Sab. He answer even the question is not the question. LOL. Of course. LOL Big E. Expat Prepper. I love the book of Acts. It's a fantastic story about the Christian church and how it got started. All right. How could anyone doubt the story of Peter escaping from prison, yet believing? There's some truth, says Scott Del Fuego. Epstein had the potential to kill himself, not. There's no way. Just like the reason they never put Hillary Clinton in prison is because they just would have walked her out the back door and they would have had to pay somebody big money to make believe she was in prison. It's cheaper to leave her out of prison than to pay people to make you believe she's in prison. Epstein didn't kill himself. That's nonsense. One of the richest men in the entire world and political influence over almost every politician in the world, female and or male, and he's going to kill himself? I doubt it, because that information could have been put out. So Scott Del Fuego, from the law and order understanding of where the belief that Epstein killed himself, it's nonsense. Bakakun ka, as we say here in the Philippines. There's some truth coming to the Philippines and to the blogging community. Big E says, this is true. Only, now this part, the next few words, only the lowest form of life can't grasp the satire when we even say 5 times in a show that this is only satirical. They still take it literally and go out and distort it. And that's why Jack Thompson has to go sprinkle yellow snow on their party. That's why Jack goes around, jumps over the fence. He goes and sprinkles yellow snow on their party and then comes back, hey boss, how you doing? Hey Mike, how you doing? Hey Scott, how you doing? Hey Big E, how you doing? Side of the fence. What the fuck is going on here today? What's going on here today? Jack Thompson only jumps over the fence to pee on somebody else's parade. Just want you to know that. Well, Jack Thompson, and without Jack Thompson jumping over the fence to pee on somebody else's parade, no one would know all the truths that were said in the other guy's parade, because I don't have time for it. So I have Jack Thompson jumping over the fence, coming back with tidbits of information, and he is sharing a piece of information now that Jack Thompson and Scott Del Fuego became the topic on another show. All right, Scott Del Fuego, he is getting kind of obsessive. Oh my God. If Scott Del Fuego speaks, people should listen. Okay, we have a Big East 5-star limo driver. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Keep it clean, Big East 5-star limo driver. And welcome to the machine. I'm expat prepper. I will not get into a philosophical conversation. If you read my book, Angels on the Ark, which apparently you didn't, and it is, there is oil and there is wine on the ark. I'm about giving up. I explain it in the book Angels on the Ark, where you can see water, wine, and oil. I'm not going to read any more points of view on the Bible and give you my opinion. I might read them, but I don't want to get into a discussion about the Bible and what it means, because it means something different to everybody. So you are welcome to voice your opinion. I'll read your opinion, but I will not argue whether or not you're correct or not, in my opinion. I don't know why you think the way you do, and you don't know why I think the way I do. The difference between you and I, expat prepper, is that the difference between you and I, expat prepper, is I spent 20 years of my life researching pictographs and or ancient history and or the original meanings of the words in the Bible. For instance, the word white 3,000 years ago, or the word white when used by Moses, or the word gold, they were interchangeable. The words meant different things back then. You take the Bible literally, word for word, verse for verse in today's context. I wrote a book about what the words meant 3,000 and 4,000. I won't debate you. But I'm not going to debate you on because from my perspective, my book, Angels on the Ark, has 1,990 pages and 602,000 words. And there isn't a single statement in my book that you could change or make out to be false. Not a single statement. Doesn't matter what you think. What I used for words and statements in my book are true according to the facts and factoids that I associated those words and statement with. Can you say the same thing? You have your belief in the Bible, and that's okay, but I'm not going to go into oil, wine, water. I show you where the oil and the wine is on the dollar bill. And I show you how it changes from water to wine. on the dollar bill. Now, you could believe that or not, but I can't get into this. Why do you believe the way you do? Because of your previous experience. This is, you want to share your thoughts, fine, but as of this moment, I'll read your thoughts as if they're a neutral philosophy. I will not get involved with a philosophical conversation about the Bible with you or anybody else. Thank you very much. John escaped. So I see all people expat purpose says in Revelations where oh man, if you're gonna in Revelations where it talks about the nations being drunk on wine, I believe the wine represent oil. Jack Thompson. Scott, yep, the second protects the first. The Second Amendment protects the first. That's true. But, all right, so saw on Fox News, says John Escape, and would like to see all people that have tested positive and recovered from the virus to wear a tag or badge or something to identify them. And the reason why everybody is testing positive for the virus is because in the 1989 medical journal, if you look up the word corona, and right next to it, it says corona is the cold virus. Not a joke. It's in the medicals AMA's book of viruses. The coronavirus is the common cold. Everybody has the common cold in their genome. For the coronavirus. Everybody will or should test positive for the coronavirus. And that's why they chose the common cold as the invisible enemy, the war on the invisible enemy, because everybody has the common cold genome in their genome. So everybody's going to test positive. Therefore, everybody's going to need to be chipped. Potato chips. Everybody's going to need potato chips. Fauci and Gates want to promote the vaccine and potato chip everybody. The mark of the feast, the potato chips of the 2020. Sab Adventure says, you answer the question, even it's not a question to be asked. Meaning Big E, you read their mind already. That's for the trolls, Big E. That's right. He is ahead of what's being asked, and he knows the answer in his mind. He's very, very, very sharp person, Big E. John Escape says the Scarlet Letter. Scott DeFrago, man, the second I have posted that Michael Fazio echoed the mark of the beast. Amazing the synchronicity we share at times. And that does happen between Scott Del Fuego and I. Scott will be thinking about me. It has actually happened that Scott has been thinking about. Scott Del Fuego has been thinking about me and starting to write a letter in email format, not anywhere else. And I will have sent him an email as he starts the letter. Happens all the time. There are certain people. It's more than a psychic link. It's a frequency thing. And there might be 5 people in that email, which pretty much is my. But the fact that I have 11 people, watching my live stream and 20,000 subscribers is telling you that Google is giving it to me proper, baby. That's what Google is doing. Jack Thompson. That's true, Scott. They're bringing potato chips for everybody. Jack Thompson says they may as well require tattoos on the forearms, and we know what he's talking about with that. John Escape says, once you receive that check, that's the $1,200 check, you will be marked as a receiver and subject to their testing rules on mandatory vaccinations. Can you send that to me via email, John, that article? I'll do a show on that tomorrow. Arcelius Corner, he doesn't have a limo driver. That's just somebody that probably the same guy that's pretending to be Michael Fazio's melted candle face. That douchebag. Oh my God. Oh my God. Warren H is in the house. I can do that, Warren. The plans. Warren, I can email you the plans, but not under my name. I can email you the plans that exist. The building was abandoned long before I got to the Philippines, probably 12, 13 years ago. The community was just too poor to finish the project, or the man didn't. It's too remote. Well, at that time, it was too remote to build the church. But I can send you the plans that exist. I can bring the plans to the building department. We'll talk about that on Skype. Scott Del Fuego says, I will not comply with unconstitutional incursion on the freedoms of my fellow citizens. Screw that, Oath Keepers number one. There you go. Now you know his position. I wish there were more people that thought like that and in a position to help the citizens of America. You people in America, you're screwed if you follow through with their plans. You have given up your freedoms. Now, I made no bones about it. You're going to hear some asswipe on YouTube. I left in 2007 mentally. I started making videos when Obama became. This sucks. I can't do this. I started making videos that I was moving to the Philippines and posting them in 2010. I didn't run away from anything. I knew what was going to happen to America. I just didn't know it was going to happen this fast. And actually, it's not fast. From the time I Agenda 2021, Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030, from the time I realized that plan existed, I was planning on the Philippines. So I didn't run away from anything. And I like it here. And I knew because the Philippines was a third world country, they would never do what they're going to do to you people in America here. They couldn't make mandatory credit card transactions here if they wanted to. They just can't do it. They don't have the infrastructure computer-wise, and the people don't know how to handle a bank account anyway. For the most part, they've never had a bank account. Their parents didn't have a bank account. Their children, their siblings, they don't have bank accounts. That stuff has to be brought into your normal everyday nature. You're just not going to happen. This is just insane. My screen keeps flashing on and off. I have no damn idea whether or not you can even hear me. Warren H says, Warren H says the 5 million. Once I sign the contract and the plans, send Warren the plans. Okay, I can do it. I'm not going to talk about biblical shit anymore. Okay, because this effing algorithm keeps shutting down my live stream. So stop the biblical conversation between me and everybody else, and we'll see what happens. Enough of that Bible bullshit, okay? I don't believe in any of it. I only believe my version of what I understand the Bible to be. I'm not going to argue these all you want between yourselves. I'm not going to mention any more Bible bullshit. Warren H is in the house. Canoy in the Philippines. Canoy in the Philippines. Hello, sir. Prayers and happy Easter. Arcelia's Corner is sending love to Warren. Happy hello to Canoy. To you. Warren says to Canoy in the Philippines, hi, mate. Same to you. Sorry about yesterday. I read your message wrong. Warren to Arcelia's Corner. Hi, how are you? I'm coming along after about 170 days in the hospital, says Warren H. to Arcelia. I should know how to say that name by now. Some things I'm just not so smart with. Canoy is saying, Warren H., no worries, really, and thank you, brother. So, Canoy, to be fair to Warren, he's on a lot of medication. I told you the other day, it made me cry when I hung up with Warren, that the amount of medication they're giving Warren is to see Warren so heavily medicated is hard for me to, just hard. Warren just put out another video. So Warren is in good spirits today. Thank you, Warren. I hope everybody goes to Warren's video and gives it a thumbs up. I talk fucking YouTube with this goddamn fucking internet. What the hell is going on here today? I am flashing on and off and off, on and off, on and off every 30 seconds. This is just not, it's not reasonable. It's not fair. I pay for an internet service that I don't get. The internet people have been here 4 times in the last 3 weeks, and they can't fix this problem, even though they say I have 100% of the data that's supposed to be available to me. When I do a speed test, I'm getting about 4% of the data that I pay for. Warren says, F me, it's a chant group. See, I mentioned it and it happened. Canoy is giving Warren H an LOL. See, I told you about chanting and incantations and the power of positive thinking, which is chanting. In some, repetitive chanting is not what, it's a way to build up the energy in one's system. Believe it or not, when the Muslims do their prayer and they repeat the same thing over and over again, it makes them more aware of their surroundings. I don't want to go into why that happens or what makes it happen. I just will tell you that when they go Allah, Allah, Allah. If you do that, if you do it, anybody on this page does that 1,000 times, you're going to feel a stimulated energy. It's going to happen. But if you say Jesus, 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 same thing's going to happen. But they do it, and it brings them a form of higher power. And I'm not. We did experiments with all the different chanting words, and they all work the same way. All right, Larry and Expat Prepper and Warren are saying hello. Thank you for that. Okay, so Warren is saying to Scott Del Fuego, you the man? To my brother, I'd follow you through any door side by side. And that has a special meaning to Warren and Scott. Thank you. Okay, Warren, you got to go. That's a great man, Warren H. is. He's a good man. Peekaboo, God day Rabbi, peekaboo to you. Wow, we have a full house in the political spectrum today. Oh my God, peekaboo to you. Happy Easter, peekaboo. Now, peekaboo and I, we had fun together. Now that's, see the difference between my channel and other people's channel is, well, I met Peekaboo, I met Nomad Patriot, I met Fox 222 Fox 1, I met 3 people in the mall in the last month. I don't know their names, but I even met somebody swimming the other day that said, aren't you the rabbi? And I said, yeah. And he's from England, and his girlfriend is from a different part of Bahal, but he knew me from England. I mean, I meet a lot of people. I'm not like, I go around and talk to people all the time. Anybody that says they want to meet me, I meet them. I have no problem with that. And I was supposed to meet Trusty Shellback. Well, I'll meet you at McDonald's. And then when I said, okay, I'll meet you there, I never heard back from him. Now, I don't know why, but I sent them like 6 messages. I called them that. Fuck me, man. Trusty Shellback was testing me to see if I would meet him. So I probably spent an hour and a half trying to get in touch with him. And then he knew darn well that I was trying to get in, and he never responded. So the next time Trusty Shellback wants to meet me, I'm going to tell him to take his appointment, stick it where the sun doesn't shine. But anybody else that wants to meet me, I'll meet them the first time they ask. But Trusty Shellback, either he's a two-face and he's just testing whether or not I'd meet him, which I have no problem meeting him, or he's a schmuck that just wanted to see if I would meet him, or he's just an asshole on YouTube that wanted to see if I would meet people in real life. But I spent an hour and a half calling up his hotel. And every time I called up his hotel, I got somebody that didn't speak English or didn't know who he was, if he was even in that hotel. So he's a person that I wouldn't meet in real life. Now, he can go under a different name and I'd probably meet him. But I just don't understand the schmucks on YouTube that want to meet people. And then when you want to, they say, okay, I'll meet you. Then they don't show up. That has happened also. I go get dressed and take a shower and I go to Alona Beach and they don't show up. Why did you make the appointment if you don't show up? They just want, maybe they're standing there watching to see if I show up. So what's the big deal? I'm not afraid of meeting people. And Peekaboo too, I didn't know who he was. Had no idea who he was. But I met him and we had a great time. Thank you for stopping by, Peekaboo too. I am going to do something special with that gift you gave me that lasted just 6 months. But thank you for that wonderful gift. Nothing lasts anymore. It's certainly not. No. I should grow my hair like Trump. Imagine that. I was thinking about getting a mohawk. You could see. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could do a comb over like Trump. Yeah, baby. Me and Trump. We got nothing in common. Oh, one more thing. I know the live stream's going to get cut short for this. Elmhurst General Hospital. The story was, according to the Trumpster, who belongs in the dumpster, the story was there are hundreds of bodies being put into cargo containers, refrigerated cargo containers. So, I mean, do you know how long it would take from Elmhurst Hospital to where I lived in Queens? 12 minutes. Maximum 12 minutes. So people went straight to Elmhurst General Hospital while Trump was live streaming that bodies were being. And you know what they saw? Nothing. There were no cargo containers being loaded with dead bodies. Trump was making it up. There weren't even any dead bodies ready to be loaded in cargo containers. There's your Trump for you. There's the guy who's going to accomplish everything that Mr. Obama wanted to accomplish in spades. No pun intended, Mr. Obama. In so deep, Mr. Deep, Mr. Trump is going to slip it in so deep, it's going to take Obama 3 days to get there on a jet plane. To do things to America. That sticker I had on my desk, I have it somewhere. Bend over, America. Here comes your change. Trump. Trump. It ought to say Trump on that sticker. It was an Obama expression. It says bend over. Remember Mr. Obama was going to give you change? Change, change, change. Remember? He used to, the doll used bend over, America. Here comes your Trump change. You're about to get it and get it good. Scott, good night. Scott is going to meet with the big shots tomorrow, talking about Obama and Trump. And a little known factoid about Scott Del Fuego. Him being called a glorified janitor had to be the other end of the spectrum as to the actual position that Scott Del Fuego holds in life. And actually, when Scott says he's going to go meet with the big shots tomorrow, you know their names. Those are the people that Scott's going to go meet tomorrow. You've seen their names in the papers, in the documents. Spiritual prepper, I have no idea who you are. And unless you read my book, I will not even answer one of your questions. I don't know who you are, and I don't care. Okay? I don't care one bit who you are. Leave all the comments you want. And why are you going to ask this question over and over again? One more time, I see that, even though it's either posted or not posted. You ask the same question 10 times, that's just to break up my thought process. One more time, I see that's it. Adios, asshole. How do I shit can somebody? #12 12 times the same question. Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you to come on my live stream and ask the same questions? If I didn't answer you the first time, I'm not going to answer you. Two bears. Okay, you I wanted to talk to. You I wanted to have a little conversation with. Somebody shit can spiritual prepper, please. Okay, two bears. You asked a question last week. How do you reinforce a concrete building so that it becomes more earthquake proof? And I said it can't be done. And then you responded that you fill up the concrete blocks with sand. So I don't understand what it is you're saying. If it's a concrete building and it's finished, stuccoed on both sides, inside and out, how do you fill up? And the blocks are already filled with concrete. How do you fill it up with sand? That has to be done before you make the building. I mean, I'm being serious now. But you said, how do you reinforce a concrete building to make it more earthquake proof? Well, reinforce it is different than build it. So theoretically, you talked about reinforcing an existing structure. You have to build it differently. And I didn't know the answer to the question anyway. I would not have guessed put sand inside the concrete blocks. And I would never do that anyway. Everybody that is sick, should eat lots of chicken soup. Well, of course, because the Corona chips beer is just nothing more than the common cold. But if you read my book, then you would understand what Bible. Adios, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Adios, everybody. Adios. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you much. Okay, that's it. Umping Permy. Happy Easter. I didn't answer you the first time. You should have got a clue. Fucking douchebags come on YouTube and they expect me to stop my live stream for some guy I never heard of before. Spiritual prepper. Now, if that's not a troll account, then one doesn't exist. Take a walk. Take a long walk off a short pier. Any idiot that my live streams or read my book would know I used the King James Version. There is no other version. Spiritual prepper. Another schmuck on YouTube pretending to be wanting to have information. It's just a troll account. Schmuck on YouTube. Schmuck on the pictographs do not work with all Bible versions, but you don't have the authority to come on here and break up my live stream, which you did. So apparently it worked. You have accomplished your worthless mission. Absolute bullshit. I'm going to go to your channel and I'm going to block you so you don't do it again. Umping Permy. Spiritual prepper. That reminds me of that some douchebag channel that you spiritual prepper, the douchebag among douchebags on YouTube. Spiritual prepper. No content, no pictures, no videos, no nothing on his channel. And he's a spiritual prepper. It's a douchebag troll on YouTube, baby. And have a nice day. Umping Permy. That's it. Over. Finished.